Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. George Java, and today I would like to talk about a very interesting topic, vaccinations. Vaccinations have been talked a lot before, but I would still like to repeat the information because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions, and the number of unvaccinated people only continues to increase worldwide, unfortunately. And all of this is due to misconceptions. Now, first of all, let me start with what is a vaccination. Vaccination is actually a process where a dead or a weak infectious agent is introduced to your body. This weak or dead infectious agent has an encounter with an immune system in your body, and your immune system trains on it. It fights it. It's easy to fight because it's either weakened or it's dead. And in both of these instances, immune system gets stronger. So when in real life later you encounter a full-blown wild parasite or bacteria or virus, your immune system is already ready and fights it very easily. So that is the point of vaccination. Now, second point of the vaccination. Vaccinations and vaccines are devised against specific diseases. For example, a common cold virus, you don't really have a vaccine against it because you don't need it. It's not a serious disease. Or influenza virus. Influenza virus is a very serious problem, but influenza vaccinations are given only to specific population. Let's say elderly who have weak immune system, people with specific diseases, very young children, etc. So vaccines are devised and given only to specific people who are at risk and against specific diseases. Now, I would like to talk about specific vaccine misconceptions which are very prevalent. Let's start with the most common ones. Can vaccines cause hypersensitivity or allergic reactions? Well, actually they can, but most of the time this hypersensitivity allergic reactions are very mild, starting from maybe mild fever, itching, a little bit rash. Yes, very rarely there can be some very serious anaphylactic reactions. But first of all, most of these vaccines are given in hospital, and these anaphylactic reactions are very well regulated, and almost never there is any fatal cases. And second, if people who are going there and getting vaccinated, if they are not vaccinated, the mortality or death rate without vaccination would be thousands, 100 times higher. For example, if you vaccinate, let's say 10 million people, and unfortunately one person could have an anaphylactic reaction and die, without vaccination, thousands or maybe even 10,000 of people would be dead. So this is why vaccinations are done. A second misconception. Can vaccines cause autoimmune diseases? For example, type 1 diabetes, I don't know, many other autoimmune diseases. Well, actually, the answer is yes. They can cause it, but let's break it down. Vaccines can cause autoimmune diseases. Only people who are predisposed to the autoimmune diseases, meaning that little Jimmy, when he got vaccination, could very, very rarely develop diabetes type 1 because of vaccination. But the same little Jimmy would have developed this diabetes a year later, a year and a half later, maybe 6 months later, because of infection, because of stress, because of injury. He was already predisposed. So it's not the vaccines that cause it, but his genetic predisposition most likely. And people who are not predisposed will never get this autoimmune disease ever at all. Plus, if you did not vaccinate little Jimmy could still probably would get diabetes a year later and would get the disease and could have died or could have serious morbidities. So that's actually the point about autoimmune diseases. Diseases. Can vaccines cause diseases? For example, if I'm doing an influenza vaccination, can influenza vaccine cause the disease? Well, actually the answer is yes, but all of the vaccinations are in reality weakened, controlled, mild causes of infection. This weakened or dead viruses cause a very, very weak infection, which our body fights against, trains against, and later when we encounter a real infection, a wild infection, our body is ready and is able to fight the infection very easily. That is the idea of the vaccine. Now, sometimes, very, very long ago, weakened viruses, when vaccines were not developed so much, weakened viruses could revert to their wild forms, back to their wild forms, and could cause diseases. Even in those times, even during those situations, this was extremely rare. I don't know, 1 in a million situations, where, for example, if we vaccinated 1 million people with poliomyelitis, one could get this disease, which was terrible, obviously, but unvaccinated cases, thousands got this disease, which was much more terrible. But even that situation, even those instances now are removed. Nowadays, vaccines are much more developed, and this does not happen anymore. So the short answer is no. Next, very, very common misconception, especially I think in United States for some reason, I don't know what's going on and why. Can vaccine cause autism? No. That's all I'm gonna say. It's absurd. Guys, there is no link between autism and vaccination, I assure you. And the last one, I don't know if I should talk about it or not, but I'll just humor you. Do vaccinations, especially COVID-19 vaccinations, control us, spy on us? Do they control us with 5G? Well, actually, obviously not. We are being controlled all the time, guys. We are being controlled, spied on, watched on, all the time. And for this control, we pay money, we take care of our control devices. These control devices are called smartphones, computers, cars, etc., etc., etc. All of these devices can spy on us. For example, I can say right now, I want a trip to Barcelona, and 2 hours later, I will get a lot of commercials offering me plane tickets and hotels to Barcelona. Yes, we are being controlled. Vaccinations are, first of all, we don't have technology to control people from injection to the shoulder. And second of all, it's not necessary at all. All of you are being controlled by using your spy phones. Google spies on you, YouTube spies on you, government can spy on you, but not through vaccinations, okay? Vaccinations are good, and please take them when necessary and listen to your doctors. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you did not like this video, I thank you for listening this long. Goodbye.